most important book in the English language took 70 years to complete, and its biggest contributor was writing from an insane asylum after committing murder. 1857. A group of scholars in England decides to create the ultimate dictionary. They think it'll take maybe 10 years. They were off by 6 decades. This became the Oxford English Dictionary, and it was an absolutely insane project. They needed to find quotations showing how words were used in books, letters, plays, newspapers, going back centuries. One editor estimated they'd need about 3 to 4 quotes per word. They ended up with over 1.8 million quotes. How? Volunteers. They put out a call asking people to read books and send in quotations on slips of paper. Thousands of people participated, but one volunteer stood out. A man named Dr. W.C. Minor sent in thousands upon thousands of citations, beautifully organized, scholarly, with precise references. He became one of their most prolific contributors. The editor, James Murray, exchanged letters with Dr. Minor for years, but they'd never met. Minor always had excuses for why he couldn't visit Oxford. Finally, in 1896, after nearly 20 years of correspondence, Murray decided to visit Dr. Minor in person to thank him. He traveled to the address, Broadmoor Criminal Lunatic Asylum. Dr. Minor wasn't working at the asylum. He was an inmate. W.C. Minor was an American Civil War surgeon who had developed severe paranoid delusions. In 1872, believing someone was breaking into his room at night, he shot and killed an innocent man in London. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity. But here's what's incredible. From his cell at Broadmoor, Minor had access to a vast personal library. Murray was shocked, but he didn't end the collaboration. Minor continued contributing for years. His mental illness got worse. He eventually mutilated himself. But his work on the dictionary was brilliant and meticulous. The two men developed a genuine friendship, despite the bizarre circumstances. The Oxford English Dictionary was finally completed in 1928, 70 years after it started. It filled 10 volumes and contained 414,825 entries. Dr. Minor died in 1920, never seeing the finished product. But thousands of entries in the ODE exist. Sometimes genius and madness are closer than we think. And sometimes the most important work happens in the most unlikely places.